Hey guys, welcome into episode 1 of the Dad Verb Podcast, where we chat about parenting from the lens of a dad. My name is Andrew, and I am joined by my friend Ben Mackenzie Brown. How you doing, Ben?
Good, Andrew. How are you?
Doing well. In today's episode, we're going to be chatting about 3 main things here. So we're going to chat about Nerf guns, laser tag, yes or no. Talking about boys in football. Should you let your boys play football? We're going to answer the golden question: why do dads take so long to poop?
That's a deep topic. Do we really want to let people in on the secret?
Yeah, we're gonna pull the curtain back. Okay, we're gonna let it all hang. All right.
All right. Might be some angry dads out there.
Oh man, but let's just start with a little intro. This is our first episode. Let's let people know who we are. So I'll let you kick it off, man. Let's explain me who you are.
Yeah. So my name is Ben. I'm a father of 1, soon to be 2 kids, a boy and a girl.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Got a couple more weeks before our lives change completely again. Super, super excited about it. Very grateful to have the opportunity to have another kid. But inside of being a dad, like I said, I'm about to have 2 kids. Got started in the dad content creation sphere with our first child, with our son, because one of the big things I was finding was when I was out looking on the internet, I was finding all these things that were marketed to moms, all these things that talked about moms and the mom experience and what it was like to be a mom. And not a lot of content about what it was like in the realities of being a dad, especially from the perspective of like really engaged fathers. Dads weren't really getting involved in looking at baby gear. I wanted to know how other dads saw strollers and bassinets and really dealt with all these decisions on where to spend your money and what was the best option out there. So that's when I actually stumbled across your channel, Andrew. So huge inspiration there for me to get started in that game. You and the guys from Fathercraft and the guys from all these, kind of small channels that have really built up this community around being dads. Outside of that, I'm just a regular guy. I work a 9 to 5, so I'm really kind of a part-time content creator because it's something that I'm passionate about. Outside of the content creation, I do run a small business doing photography and videography for small to medium-sized businesses, kind of artisanal companies, which is pretty exciting. It's nice to work with some crafts people out there, and that's been parlayed into working with some larger brands in the parenting space. So that's been super exciting. And now we have this new opportunity to continue the conversation about fatherhood in a really kind of real and raw way, which I think is really exciting because there's not enough voices of dads out there. We have a great opportunity to bring that to the market.
100%. And yeah, a little bit about me. So I started a YouTube channel called Dad Verb, if you're not already familiar. And I did this back in 2017 for the exact same reasons that Ben mentioned. I saw a bunch of content geared toward moms who were just, sitting along the bedside, and they would kind of, I'm there to understand a review about the Upper Baby Vista stroller. And they would kind of sit there and they would talk and ramble and go on. And then about 11 minutes into the video, then they would really start talking about the stroller. And I was just like, man, when they got to the point, there was good value there. But I was like, I want someone who speaks a little bit more my language. And there was no one doing it. So I just went and picked up the camera, started going for it. And little by little over time, guys started to pop up and this new niche of dad creators started to emerge. And guys like Fathercraft and Glenn Henry over at Belief in Fatherhood. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he is phenomenal.
Great channel.
Really blown up. So really good guy too. It's just been really cool to see just a new breed of dads join the game. So yeah, it's been fun. I too am a kind of in the creative world. I started off in marketing, advertising, and then migrated to just being on editorial teams, and then started Dad Verb, and then now I'm doing it full time. But like, it's always just that, like, I'm on the cusp of like, do I need a normal 9 to 5 again? Like, do I need to like put my resume out? Because like, I'm not like I'm not rolling in it. It's like we're like fine, but so I don't know. Yeah. So it's full time at the moment. We'll see what happens. So
It's awesome to see you going out there and making something of this, though, because I think there's so many dads that find value in this kind of content, and that's what excited me about being able to get to join you in the conversation and making that's why I make the content that I make. Right, I kind of shifted from, kind of tried vlogging for a little while, and like that was okay, but those stories are really hard to tell. Huge respect to people that vlog like daily and make that work and build their audience that way. Incredibly challenging to do that type of content creation.
It's a lot.
But like really, really where I found value and where I hope a lot of people in your audience and our audiences find value is getting that dad's perspective, especially on baby gear, because I feel like, ergonomically, physically, like we use things differently. There's different considerations. I don't always consider like the weight of a stroller, right? Like I want to know how heavy it is, if it's a tank or not, but
for sure.
I don't necessarily, that's not like the first thing in my mind is how heavy is this thing?
100%.
And there's different, just how I use things, my geometry when I use a stroller is going to be different than how my wife uses it. So I think it's really important to get that conversation out there.
Oh yeah, 100%. Just off the top of my head, like one example of that, like is a product that I reviewed. It's massively popular. It's called a Duna stroller, which is like this hybrid car seat stroller. And while I love it and stuff, and a lot of moms like, we have to have it in our registry. And like one disclaimer is that like, listen, if you're 6'3", this thing sucks. Like, like you're gonna be hunched and you're gonna hate pushing this thing. So yeah, and a lot of moms don't ever have to worry about it. A lot of guys out there who are like, I'm also pushing a stroller. This is uncomfortable to push, so lots of random things to be conscious
I don't have to worry about that. I'm a short king over here, holding down the 5'10" army.
You 5'10"? See, I'm 5'11".
I'm 5'10" on a good day.
I know I'm 5'11", but my wife is just like, you're 5'10". I'm like, no, I'm 5'11". We went to the doctor, got measured. I am, but it's just such an awkward thing. It's either you're 5'10" or you're 6. There's no 5'11".
Yeah,
but I am.
No. There's no. It's all I ever wanted to be was like 6 feet tall, and I just never quite got there.
Real quick, you told me last week you were sick. How you feeling?
Good. We so anybody with a kid in daycare knows exactly how this goes. Basically. Daycare is just an absolute petri dish, right? Kids are always touching toys. Somebody's kid is always boogery. Every time you walk in there, you can tell the kid that's going to get all the other kids sick because their nose is running.
Dude, their nose is running. They're coughing. Like, why? Why bring them?
But it's just like, it's like, what are you going to do? You kind of know they're going to get sick. And last weekend we had a stomach virus run through our house. So my son got it. He got sick in the middle of the night. Changed him in the middle of the night. He had thrown up in his bed. It was rough, and so kept him home from school. Yeah. Got through like a couple days and was like, okay, well, I didn't get it. My wife didn't get it. He was on the mend. He kind of just got a cold immediately afterwards. I was like, all right, I think we're good. So my wife and I planned date night, which is like, that's a huge deal. Even just the one kid to be able to like, okay, we're going to leave him off with grandma. We're going to go to a nice dinner and just like have a good time.
Dude. Yeah.
We get there, we have our dinner. Everything's going great. Like have this really nice, very pricey dinner, get home and go to bed. And right around like 1 o'clock in the morning, my eyes snap open and I was just like, I knew it was coming. I was like, no. I'm not going to survive this. Yeah, I'm not going to survive this.
Worst.
And it was like just back and forth between like sitting with my head down in the shower and hunched over a toilet for like 4 hours.
Dude,
man. It was rough, but my wife got through it unscathed, which I'm very happy about with the baby on the way. Like she managed not to get it, which was fantastic. But yeah, it ran through our house. It ran through all the classes, all the teachers, everybody.
Dude, gosh, man, bugs like that too. They spread so fast. And it's one thing to be sick. It's another thing to be sick. That 1 to 4 a.m. sick is particularly potent. Those wake up sicks are, man, it's rough. Yeah, my daughter, we've got 3, right? So we've got an 8-month-old baby, a 3-year-old, and then a 5-year-old. Our 3-year-old brought some sort of cold home from school. It wasn't COVID, wasn't RSV. Luckily, it was just generic bug, something. Daughter got it. Well, actually, before he brought it home this week, she was getting over another cold. So last Sunday, she was like on the tail end. She was good.
Constant cycle.
2 days of health. And then Colin comes home coughing. And then our daughter's name is Sienna. We call her Cece. He's just up in her face. Cece bug? Hi, Cece bug. I'm like, son of a. That's it. That's it. She just got sick right there. A day later, poor girl, running nose, all that. And then I got it. So last week was just basically all sick except for Henry, our oldest, and my wife Katie. They were good. But yeah, for me, we just had to tough it out. So, and here's it's one thing when your kids are sick. It's it's a different breed of difficulty. It's hard, but it's when you're sick. And the demand of being a parent is still there. You still have to do the grind, the routine, and like and I feel guilty. I don't want my wife to just shoulder the whole thing. I got to do something. I got to stay, somewhat productive. But
you can't go total man flu and just like not do anything.
And here's the thing, I'll admit it. Like I'm an absolute baby. When it comes to the cold, like it hurts me. Like it's like
I'm in pain.
I am.
Feel bad
like
for
I
me.
am. I shut down. Like I just shut down. My wife's just like, you are, and like, no, I am. So but it's hard. It's hard when you are sick with kids. There are a lot of tough aspects of parenting. One of the toughest is having to do all of the things when you are down and out, when you have full on man cold, influenza.
I remember last year when we all got COVID at Christmas. Like we all three of us. Like my son brought it home from daycare. My wife and I both got it. That was like the hardest part was that and we're thankful because it only affected him for a few days. He had kind of a rough cough, a little bit of a fever, and then he was back to normal. I mean, within like 2 or 3 days, running around the house, very excited. It knocked my wife and I out. I mean, we couldn't stay awake. So we were literally watching our kid in shifts. So like she would take a nap on the couch and I would take a shift for a couple hours, and then I would get exhausted and then she would take a shift for a couple hours. And that's the same thing, right? It's just like being sick and still having to parent is one of the most challenging things about having kids, because like you still kind of have to be on. Like they still need to eat, they still need to be changed, they still need all the basic care essentials. You just gotta get through it.
And they don't care. They're just like, I don't care if you're sick or not. Like, listen, I want Bluey. You turn on the specific episode of Bluey that I want.
Turn on this thing I want.
I want Shadowland episode of Bluey, okay? And then you got to find it. I don't care. So
that is a good one.
That's legit. That one's bomb. Bluey's a good show, man. I feel like we came into a parenting age where there's good content. I'm glad that we got to skip the Caillou era. Apparently, Caillou was one of the most annoying kid characters in the history of television, and I don't know it because I never got to watch it. But like my cousin had kids. My cousin had kids during the Caillou era, and they were like, "Dude, this kid sucks." So
I avoid Cocomelon like the plague.
Dude, Cocomelon.
I refuse to listen to Cocomelon in my house. That's our one big agreement.
It's because like it does a good job of entertaining kids. But man, it's just repeat and repeat, and it just kills you. It just eats out of your soul. My when we had our oldest, it wasn't Cocomelon wasn't a thing at that point. It was Little Baby Bum. That was like the OG back in like 2017.
Oh yeah,
it was like Little Baby Bum. Yeah, it was. It's like similar basic animation that like some kid in high school like learned how to animate, and then that's what came out. That's what rendered. And just really basic nursery rhymes. Cocomelon was just the next iteration of that, but like it blew up, and like you see it at Target. It was like just crazy how big that brand is. But it's a soul sucking endeavor.
Can't do it. I refuse. Bluey we can really get into.
Bluey's good.
He's really into this show called Tots right now on Disney.
Yeah.
The Tiny Ones Transport Service. So it's about.
Is that the one where it's like the storks or something? No.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so they deliver all these different kinds of babies to their parents. Like that's the whole premise of the show. So that's his it's his obsession right now. That, and he's starting to get into like Pixar movies, but that one's a little annoying, but it's nothing compared to Cocomelon. We refuse to watch it.
I've seen the Tots ones. That's definitely tolerable. One that started off really good was it's called PJ Masks, but one of those kids got really whiny. The one wearing green, his name's Gecko. Dude, don't your kid. And then you start like seeing in our kids at least, like they mimic, they act the way they see on TV, and there's subtle changes, and you can like tell. I'm like, dude, that came from that freaking show. Like I know it did. And
yeah, we're not watching this anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, oh man. All right, so let's dive into our question box, right? We got 3 questions that we're gonna be tackling each episode. First question for you, man. You've got a young man, you've got a young boy. As he gets older, question for you: would you let your son play football?
So, this is something my wife and I have talked about, not at length, but a little bit. So, I played some sports growing up. I wasn't a huge sports kid. I spent a lot of time like outside riding bikes in the woods, played soccer for a while, ran track and field, went to a really, really small school. So like everybody was on the football team and it just wasn't my thing. But I look at it and I think there's the way I try to look at it is I think there's tremendous value in competitive sports for kids, for all kids, like boys, girls. I think that competition and adversity and kind of facing adversity is incredibly important for kids, right? Because there's a lot of things they're going to do in their lives that are very easy that, you know, they're going to get patted on the back for doing well, even maybe when they didn't do their best, right? That's just the world we live in. And I think the idea of winning and losing and facing things that are difficult and making it through them makes somebody more resilient. You have to face that challenge in order to build that resiliency, build that mental fortitude.
Right.
Now, the physical aspect of it, though, is, you know, you read a lot about head injuries and just physical injuries and kids that, you know, depending on the football program, can get just sort of chewed up and spit out. You know, kids are tearing ACLs in high school and really 100%. Getting some pretty serious injuries. And, you know, that can lead to all kinds of stuff down the road.
Yes. Cardiac arrest is actually something that we're hearing a lot about. Too. Cardiac arrest and heat stroke. And it's, you know, a lot of things beyond just like the actual physical breaking of a bone or, you know, straining of a muscle. It's, but you kind of look at any sport, right? And it's any physical sport is inherently dangerous. Like you can get hurt no matter what. They're developing bodies. You're putting them under a lot of stress. You know, and football, while it does have the danger of head injuries, you know, soccer has a lot of head injuries. Lacrosse has a lot of head injuries. And that's the thing. It's just something that's possible. Well, on that note, I'm gonna let you keep going in a second, but you know, the question is relevant to football because, you know, we've seen, you know, movies like Concussion. We hear so much about CTE and, you know, the effect on brains, on the effect of big hits on young brains. You know, that's a thing. But what often goes overlooked is that statistically, at least I don't know if it's in men's sports, but I know statistically in female high school sports, like the highest rate of concussions is from soccer. For obviously you've got headers, but there are a lot of impacts that affect the head in soccer, which you don't often think about, but soccer is just as dangerous, if not more so.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I played indoor soccer growing up too. And, you know, we played on turf, which was just turf over concrete. And you had a lot of kids getting head injuries there just from, you know, you're uncoordinated, you trip and fall and smash your head on the turf and you're, you know, you got a concussion. But yeah, going back to playing football, I think whatever the sport is that they choose, if they're in competition, they at least need an opportunity to try. So for me, I think I would be okay with it. He at 2 already seems interested in football. He's already pretty coordinated and fairly athletic. So I think the chances are pretty high that he's going to want to play football, soccer, baseball, some kind of competitive sport. And I don't think as parents that we are really meant to discourage that because of the fears of what might happen, because there's just as high a chance of it not happening and everything being fine as it is for them to get hurt. And at the end of the day, either way, they're going to learn something from it. And I think that's the most important thing.
100%. So my take on that is, you know, I agree with a lot of the aspects of football or of sports when it comes, beyond the physical, the being able to get through adversity, being able to improve and see that physical improvement and just being able to overcome a lot of things that, that comes with sports of getting through barriers and challenges. But when it comes to the question of like, would you let your son play football? Listen, if he wants to play football, yeah, of course, yeah, I'm not going to discourage him from playing football if that's truly his passion.
Right.
But if I had the opportunity to encourage other sports ahead of it, like baseball, which bad take, baseball is not a sport because if you can eat during a sport, it's not a sport. No, baseball's a sport. It's not my favorite sport. I grew up more in the world of basketball. So, it's just the thing about the head injuries, and this is with soccer too. You can come back from a physical injury for the most part, right? You break a leg, you hurt your knee, those are things that you can recover from. When you are when you have head injuries, that starts to impact more than just your physical. That becomes an issue with, it can lead to, memory problems, behavioral things. It starts changing your sense of self. And that's where I think a lot of the concern, where a lot of parents that I hear from are just, no, I would never let my kid play football, which I get. And that's kind of the camp that I'm in. So, what if my son, who happens to have a deep passion for the game of football, which is crazy. Like it's all he actually wants to play. If that's what he wants, that's what he wants. I'm not gonna shut that down. But I am cautious of it, and I want him to see it. And he watched Damar Hamlin go down with his cardiac arrest. He watched it and he was like, "What's happening?" I was like, "Henry, this is something that's like never happened. They've like never stopped a game like this." It's fun to see it. He loves like seeing the helmets and the colors and the fanfare.
Yeah.
But I was like,
the other side of it of that, knowing that there is a potential for serious injury.
Exactly. And for a 5-year-old to see that, and he was like processing, he was like, what am I seeing? I'm like, and I didn't, it was really scary too. Cause like, did we just see someone like pass away? And, navigating that conversation, it was like really weird for me as a dad, just being like, okay, well, let's not let it get there. Maybe let's direct this conversation more to like acknowledging that sport, while it is inherently fun and stuff, it's also a violent game, this one in particular. Yeah. So, we that's kind of what we talked about, because, he really wanted to play flag football. We signed him up for flag football. It wasn't good enough because he off on different fields, he would see the kids with the helmets and the things. And he was just like,
the whole
that's
deal.
What I want. He wants the whole enchilada.
He wants what he sees on TV.
Exactly. And really enjoys it. And for Christmas, we got him a Nintendo Switch. We got him, just like, expensive things. The thing that he's used the most since Christmas is his Cowboys football helmet. We got for like $20 off of Amazon. Won't take it off. The thing is, I told you this off camera. He, like, when he wakes up in the morning, he legitimately, oh my gosh, he doesn't want to watch like cartoons or anything like that. He's like, hey, can we turn on Sports Center? Or can we turn on like old Cowboys games? He's a Cowboys fan. We're in Dallas. And I'm just like, no, like, no. We asked the boys, it was yesterday. Want to watch TV? Sure, we'll watch TV. What do you guys want to watch? And there's always a fight. Colin says he wants to watch, he wanted to watch Bluey. And Henry said, I want to watch the Fantasy Footballers, which is a podcast that we listen to for about fantasy football. Like the kid is, for a 5-year-old, he's got obsessed. A giant interest in football. He's obsessed. But
I think, it's exciting and it's scary. And that's the balance with anything to do with parenting, is like, you're excited to see their interests. You're excited to cultivate the things that make them happy.
Right.
But ultimately, you're also trying to balance that with like your innate desire to keep them safe from all things dangerous.
100%.
And that's the hardest thing, is learning how to let go of certain things, learning how to let them explore, in a free but sort of safe environment. And that's kind of, when you get into sports, it's like, you have no control. And I think that's the scariest thing, is like you have no control over their safety at that point. It's totally up to them learning how to control their body. It's up to the other kids learning how to control their bodies.
And that's
so that it's done in a safe manner, or as safe as it can be.
Yeah, 100%. And that's something that's hard, because like you just can't control the way other kids go about it. So, and I do want to know, like, we try to expose our kids to a wide range of interests, just everything. But somehow Henry's just truly gravitated to sports. The kid loves sport, like the Olympics. I remember the Olympics were on a couple of years ago. He was like 3 years old. And we went to my sister-in-law. They've got like a nice community pool with like lanes. And he gets on top and he's like, "Hey, Dad, do you want to play Olympics with me?" Because he had just watched a lot of the swimming, and he gets up and he sets up like an Olympic diver. So like he just always gravitates towards sports. So I mean, I don't see his interest in football waning anytime soon, but I'm low key gonna be trying to encourage like golf, or something
Golf,
like
swimming,
that. So
maybe a little track and field, some tennis.
Pickleball's a thing, esports, so
yeah,
we'll see. But yeah, man, do you have anything else to add, or do you want to jump to the next question?
Oh, let's go ahead and jump to the next one.
Next question. All right, listen, guys, we're gonna let you in on some secrets here. Okay, we are gonna reveal what every mom wants to know, what every wife wants to know. What are you doing taking 20-minute poops? Be honest, Ben. How long are your poops, man?
Probably about that 20 to 30 minutes. Basically, when my legs fall asleep, I know it's time to try to stand up. Yeah, when the leg goes numb. So, all right. So we built a new house a couple years ago, and you have to upgrade to like the taller toilets. But with taller toilets, they're also longer, and like again, short king status. My legs aren't that long.
Do you have the bidet attachment?
Oh, 100%. We'll talk about that in a minute. That is a life changer. That will fundamentally change your bathroom experience.
You're going to have to educate me on that.
Yeah. But like, I basically get to the point where like, if my leg starts to fall asleep, I know I've been in there too long. But like, as far as like what you're actually doing in there, it's usually, I'll say the routine is this. Go in, pants down, phone out of pocket, right? And usually it's like you start by, scrolling a little Instagram, maybe throw in a little TikTok, maybe, maybe touch base on Facebook, see how the aunts and uncles are doing, catch up on the family vibes, open a little Facebook.
Yeah.
And then it's usually where I get lost is like, I'm a researcher. Like I have questions all the time. And it's so easy to just look stuff up. You can Google anything at any time. Whatever stat you want to know, whatever information you want to know is somewhere on the internet.
So you're just reading.
So I'll just start looking stuff up. Oh, I wanted to know about this. I wanted to know like what's the average lifespan of a sea snail? Like, I don't know.
So is this like
there's
Wikipedia?
A YouTube video about it. Oh no, I'm in like YouTube rabbit holes.
YouTube.
I'm in like Google searches. Yeah, I'm way into it. And then again,
these are full
my
videos.
Signal is and my signal is like when I can't feel my legs anymore, it's probably time to go.
Yeah. I've gone there. So see, okay, so you're more in the research mode. So for me, you go pants around the ankle, or you go one leg out?
Around the ankle. Although it's dangerous because if you have to get up in a hurry, you might trip and hit your face.
Yeah, so I try to get comfortable. I go one leg out. I want a wider stance. So,
you go wide stance. Wow.
Yeah, a little bit wider. No, for the most part, I go pants around the ankle. But sometimes, if I want to get comfy. So my weapon of choice, though, is I don't do social media. I don't really. On occasion, I'll scroll a little bit of Instagram, but lately it's been Marvel Snap. Have you played Marvel Snap?
I've not played Marvel Snap.
Dude, it is so fun. It's addicting. It's like the strategy card game. And I love strategy card games. Like I've got Pokemon cards like right in front of me, dude. I love card games. Like literally. But it's like this kind of strategy card game, but like the matches go really fast. They're like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And I'll just play. And I'll just play and I'll just forget. and then same thing. But the leg starts to tingle, behind, and then I'm like, oh, it's my alarm. I gotta go. And
that's when I know. But
it's here's the thing though. Kids are screaming and stuff, but like there's just like this is non-negotiable.
It's your sanctuary.
Like,
it's the fortress of solitude. It's the bat cave. It's all those things. Because like, so now that we have a 2-year-old who can open all the doors in our house, including our front door, terrifying experience because he can unlock and open our front door now. So he just leaves the house sometimes.
Oh,
but he can open
scary.
So aesthetically, lever handles look beautiful in your home. Functionally, kids have a very easy time opening lever handled doors. So like if you want to go to the bathroom in peace, you have to lock the door. So then you get to a point where like you lock yourself in there. And of course, at some point, my 2-year-old's going to come and start wrenching on the door handle and going, Daddy, I need blah, 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 blah. I'm like, go ask your mom. But that's like your space. That's your uninterrupted. I have no one to tell me or ask me like, why I'm on my phone or what I'm doing or can I help with this? I can be in there uninterrupted and just let my mind wander for 15, 20, sometimes 30 minutes, just depending on how long the blood flow lasts.
I average 15. Like, realistic, it's a 15. It's a 15. So
it depends on the day. If it's nap time, you might be able to squeeze in like a 20, 25 minutes before your legs fall asleep.
I don't know how true it is. I remember reading one thing. You said you like researching. I heard that like taking long poops is like not healthy for you. I don't know, like
isn't. I'm sure there's some sort of lower intestine impact.
Something. I don't know what it is, but to my I've heard it somewhere. Like it's not healthy. I don't know if that was just BS or what, but do you do squatty potty?
Yeah.
I heard that like puts you in a really.
We got the whole setup, man.
Tell me about this bidet. Setup. Tell me about the bidet.
So we have 2 different ones. We have two different setups. So in one bathroom we have, I think it's called the Tush or the Tushy or whatever it's called. That's like one of the original ones. So they're attachments. They're not like, we're not going out and buying like an actual bidet or like.
Right.
I really tried to convince my wife for a while that I needed to buy one of those super nice Japanese toilets. Dude, have you ever seen those? They're like $2,600 and they're like,
no,
oh
yeah.
my God. They're heated. They have lights. They like play music.
Oh,
like they'll play like soothing sounds.
Oh, I love it. I need it.
I really want one. It's an unbelievably unnecessary expense, but I really want one.
Dude, that's one of those luxury things. Yeah, people have like wish lists and stuff. That's it.
Oh, that's on there. I actually wanted to see if I could add one to the registry for the baby to have people like contribute to it. So that I didn't have to pay for the whole thing by myself. They do like diaper funds. Dude, like a Japanese toilet fund.
Dude, you know what? I remember as a content creator, I wonder if I could like find a brand and be like, listen, do a review on the channel.
I'd love to review. I'd love to review. Look, Dad spend a lot of time on the toilet. Like, I really need to work with you.
Exactly. So, what are your metrics? Like, not good enough, but still, come on. Send me something.
Not good enough for what you want. But so the first time we ever used a real bidet was we took a trip to Ireland and France. And so when you go to Paris or go to France, like they're everywhere, right? And then the second time was when we flew from we lived in North Carolina at the time. We live in South Carolina, so we flew out of Charlotte and we flew to Indonesia. Well, when you fly to Indonesia, you fly through South Korea, and you get to spend time at the Seoul, the Incheon. I think it's the Incheon International Airport, and the South Korean toilet experience is unparalleled. But it's the same thing. It's like you have super high tech toilets, but they all have like bidets, and it absolutely changes how clean you feel when you get done. Because it's just like you like get this nice like water jet experience. Like, I mean, there's no mess, no muss, no fuss. You're ready to go. Like, you're cutting down on laundry time at that point.
So I've experienced a bidet a couple times in my life, but I was younger, and it was when I was we went and traveled to the Philippines to see family, and they had a bidet, and at the time I was like 8 or 9. I don't remember like too much about the experience, but I remember I sat on a bidet and I thought it was the toilet, and when
You turned the wrong knob.
yeah, exactly. And then I got this clean feeling, but I didn't know that. I thought I was having diarrhea or something. I thought like something like was amiss. So I didn't know. I was like, what is
Something
this?
was wrong.
So it was very jarring, and then it wasn't until after. So I thought it was just weird, but now as I'm older, I understand that it's a good thing, So I need to re-experience that.
Enjoy the finer
I think
things in life.
Dude, yeah, 100%. Is the attachment hard to? Was it hard to install or pretty easy?
No, super easy. Yeah, it takes. I mean, a few tools.
Was it like $100?
15 minutes. Yeah, I don't think it was any more than that.
Yeah, I think it's worth it to give it a shot. I want to experience that because I don't remember like the full details of it. I just remember like this is weird, and am I having issues? So like, okay, you get sprayed, it's good, but do you still need to like pat it down with like toilet paper?
You still pat dry. You still pat dry.
You pat
like,
dry. You
the
don't
the whole process is much simpler. So we used to be like a wet wipes family, right? Like you always had kept the little Scott's thing on the back of the toilet, that little plastic bin you always see.
Yeah,
like. That's when I knew I made it. Like when I was making like good money is when I could like keep wet wipes on the back of the toilet. Like that was a luxury item. you can tell I didn't grow up with a lot of money. So like my idea of luxury is like very simple. But they, so we had like these wet wipes, and then we were like, man, we're spending all this money on these wet wipes. There's got to be a better option. Then of course we went to Europe. We went to, we traveled a bunch. We had that experience, and I was like, I have to have this in my house. But yeah, it's straight up. It's just like, you do your business, a little jet of water cleans you off, and then you pat yourself dry, pants up, and away you go.
Dude, it is a money saver, though. Like, you don't have to wipe as much. So, theoretically, you are saving money on toilet paper, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we do the whole Costco Kirkland giant package of toilet paper, but like, it takes us months now to go through that.
So, yeah, that's great because I can hear my wife just unfurling, like huge rolls of toilet paper. I'm like, not just toilet paper, too, but like paper towels. I'm like, dude, why? Why? No, you don't need that much. So maybe a bidet will help the both of us. I don't know. But on the wet wipes,
good investment. Good investment.
We used to do like what brand was it? It was Cottonelle, the Cottonelle wet wipes from Costco. Yeah. We did it for the longest time. Then at one point, a couple of years back, there was like a recall of like, hey, you shouldn't use those. I remember like opening one and I was like, oh, this is one of the recalled units. And like this weird smell came out of it. I'm like, is this a bacteria? If I use this, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
And I remember just like, we're just going to
happen.
Yeah. So we took them back and we never bought them ever since. So we haven't really been on the wet wipes train for a while, but maybe we hop back on. Actually, no, we just get a bidet and
100% worth it. So if you're not going to go full on, like go whole hog, actual real true bidet, then the bidet attachments I think are where it's at. I think it's most like economical, most bang for your buck kind of version. They're super easy to install. Do not, word to the wise, do not test it after you've installed it. Or be very careful.
They're just
it'll shoot across the room. Like we shot we have a little pantry with like towels and stuff in it. The door was open, and we just soaked a bunch of towels like across our hallway from this thing. I'm telling you, like if your water pressure's high enough, like just be careful.
So is there like a knob where you can adjust like the intensity of the wash, or is it just like one set standard?
Oh, no, it's fully adjustable. Yeah, it's fully adjustable, but it takes a little finesse. It takes a little finesse to find your level.
Okay. There should be a button. You know, like how when you get into a car and there's the recline for your wife, and then and there's a recline for you, or
this is why I want a Japanese toilet. This is why I want a Japanese toilet, because it has user settings.
You want the high PSI.
Oh, I can set my seat warmth. I can set my music, my mood lighting. I mean, I may never come out of the bathroom at that point. If she's mad about me being in the bathroom for 20 minutes now, like that's hours. Like it's probably got a recline feature on it. There might be some massaging stuff going on. I'm in there.
So words to any word of caution to any wives out there who already don't like the amount of time that their husbands are taking with them long poops. don't get a bidet, don't get the Japanese setup. It's just gonna keep
Do
you
not.
cozy.
It will only make it worse.
Oh man! All right, let's dive into our third question here, and then we'll get to a game. This third question might be a little testy, might set some people off, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Laser tag, Nerf guns, yes or no?
Mm-hmm. I'm a yes. Yeah, I'm a yes. I mean,
Tell me why.
I grew up playing with them.
Yep.
I personally, it's like with all things, right? With all things, I guess, play weapon based, right? There is, it's at the end of the day, it's a toy. It's brightly colored. It doesn't, in my mind, resemble a firearm that exists today. I don't think you're teaching your kids to be violent. I think at that point it's your responsibility as the parent to set the context of that toy and how it's used and what it's for and all of that. And I think we get stuck in not taking enough responsibility for the outcomes of the things that we do. We think it's the toy or the game or the thing, but it's like, at the end of the day, you're the one that has to teach the lesson as a parent. And so I think laser tag is, if kids are getting out and they're active and they're running around and they're being, physically active, I think that's the most important thing. And if they're having fun doing it, then great. And if that's something that I can join in on and have fun with, I mean, kids are frustrating sometimes. Who doesn't want to take them to laser tag and just absolutely whoop up on their kids in some laser tag just to put them in their place? I mean, that's like, it's just fun to do, to let out a little bit of frustration in a very safe way.
Dude, I love laser tag. I used to work for a place that had laser tag in in the facility. It had bowling and billiards and laser tag and stuff like that. And you get in some rounds of laser tag, and it's good cardio. But back to the question at hand, I fall into the same camp as you, and I fully get it, especially in today's America where we've got so many issues with gun this, and it's hard. We just had a mass shooting a couple days ago or yesterday, for a Chinese Lunar New Year. It's devastating to hear these things. My wife, it was maybe a year or two ago. We never really even introduced Nerf guns at all, and until we got one as like a white elephant or something like that, and started playing with it. And my wife, for the first time, voiced her opinion. She was like, I don't really feel comfortable with Henry playing that. I was like, it's just a toy. I played with it too. What's the problem with it? And it was for the first time, I was like, oh yeah, guns and trigger games, and okay, I get it. But in really thinking about it, and after a while, initially I was like, okay, sure, we won't let him play with it. That's fine. But then we for birthdays and stuff like that, he'll come home with Nerf guns, and over time we just started playing with them and shooting, and it's fun. But to your point, it is our responsibility to with that exposure comes the education as an opportunity for us to talk and speak up about it, because I don't necessarily think that it's going to lead to a negative outcome. If anything, it gives us the opportunity to talk about whatever it is that, it gives us teaching moments.
Right. There's so many things in parenting that just open up an opportunity. Like you talked about the Damar Hamlin situation, right? Where you're navigating, and I think as parents, we navigate these situations, and the reality is nobody knows what they're doing. No one knows exactly how that conversation is going to go, and it's generally going to be challenging. You're really going to have to think about what your values are and how to translate that to a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 5-year-old, whatever it is, and whether that's around firearms or sports or violent video games or any of that. You as the parent, it's your job to set that example and to have those conversations that are generally going to be uncomfortable, or that you don't really know how to approach it. And I think that's why it's important to talk to other parents too, and say we're thinking about X, Y, or Z. How did you handle it? Has this come up with you? Just to see if you can find, perspective that you understand, a lens to look at it or to interpret it for your kids. Cause that's our entire job, is to guide them through difficult situations. And not saying that Nerf guns create a difficult situation, but it does, like you said, open up the opportunity for conversation.
Right. And I think there is value in like the exposure to it, you know, and being around it and saying like, okay, yeah, this is, you know, just giving them context as to, you know, what it is. I think that goes for, you know, like, you know, sex too, or like drugs, you know, like when I was a kid, and I grew up in like a really like kind of conservative Christian home, right? And what was hard about that is, and my mom was like Latin, you know, and she in particular was just, you know, like really tried to like, you know, limit what I was exposed to, which I, you know, as any parent, you want to protect your kid, but in some ways it's like a disservice because like, you know, they need to be exposed to certain things, and, you know, sex being one of them. I feel like the ones who are like addicted to porn and like have these unrealistic expectations of like what sex is are the ones who were sheltered from it so much, and their parents didn't give them the opportunity to like really learn about it or explore that, you know, and this is a really testy, hard thing. And, you know, I'm sure this is going to open up a lot of debate, but I think exposure to things, and, you know, this kind of goes beyond, just transcends just the topic of like Nerf guns and laser tag. Topics like sex and drugs and, you know, illnesses and disabilities. I don't know, just things that are very hard to talk about.
You give your kids an opportunity. Yeah, you give your kids an opportunity to ask questions and to get your opinion, and to also understand the context of it, to understand that, like, I mean, look, at the end of the day, we're all parents. If we have kids, we know how they got here. Like, it's no secret, like, how your kids came into this world, right? You know, it's something that needs to be understood, that needs to be talked about, because as you said, you know, I look back at like my college years, and the kids that flunked out, that like partied too hard, that just could not handle being away from home, were the kids that had incredibly strict boundaries at home. You know, they didn't have any exposure. They didn't have, they didn't talk about it. Their parents maybe pretended that certain things didn't exist.
Yeah, my mom deflected a lot.
Home. Yeah,
my mom
they would deflect and avoid, and that leads to just not knowing how to handle yourself in those challenging situations. And that's, again, whether it's the conversation about Damar Hamlin, the conversation about firearms or sex or drugs or whatever, if you're avoiding those conversations, your kid's going to find out about it somehow. And if you're not the one leading them through that conversation, then you've done them a disservice.
I don't think I couldn't have said it better myself. That right there is 100% what I wish I could have articulated, but you nailed it. Yeah, so that's kind of our take on that. If you're watching on YouTube, feel free to use that comment section to voice, you know, your thoughts, your opinions on this. And, you know, if we're wrong, we have bad takes, that's fine. This is how we learn. This is how we as a community of dads, as parents, learn and get to understand different perspectives. That's kind of the whole point of this. So yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and leave us a comment. And if you are listening on Spotify or wherever you get your podcast, leave us a good review. We'd really appreciate that, especially since we're starting out here. Ben, let's round this out with a little game. All right. So a game that I've seen a lot of podcasts do this. Other people do this. They do like fantasy drafts. They do fantasy drafts of things that aren't just football players or basketball players. They draft all types of things. My wife, we've been doing this game of ours since like 2015. We put polls up on Instagram. We pick certain things and we have people vote on it. And we're going to bring that game here. So we are going to draft our top 3 cereals, right? And this game, we're just going to call this game Top 3. And we're going to pick the top 3 cereals. But here's the thing, Ben. So leading up to this podcast, you knew what we were going to draft. And you may have done some research, but here's the thing. When we play, you are not allowed to look at the internet. There's a computer right in front of you. Don't use it. Only the noggin. Only use the noggin.
Hands off.
So hands off the mouse. And we're going to go ahead and draft the top 3 cereals. And then you, the voters, will let us know who has better taste in cereal. So, Ben, I figured if you go first this time, I'll go first next time, or or vice versa.
All right.
What do you want? You want pick 1 or you want pick 2? What are you going to do? Because there is a clear 101. There is a clear 1. Okay, I'll let you take pick 1.
Okay.
Next pick. There is a clear 1. Let's see if you're a smart man. But you go ahead and draft your first. Tell me.
Yeah, pick 1. I'm gonna go. Ooh, I've got two in my top that I know. One is delicious and sticks in my teeth. The other destroys the roof of my mouth.
I know where you're going.
All right, you know what? I think we're gonna go. We're gonna go Captain Crunch, number one.
Oh, you went for the roof
Number
destroyer.
one overall pick, Captain. Yeah, the roof destroyer.
Dude,
and I don't
all
even
right.
care what variation of Captain Crunch. I'll take any of them.
Oops, all berries. Oops, all berries
so
all
good.
the way. That is so delicious, man.
By the way,
I'll say that's a good
fun
pick.
Fun fact, if you eat an entire box of those in a day, it will change the color of your poop and you'll think you're dying.
You are absolutely right.
Happened to me when I was a kid.
There was like this blue dye, I think. Did it go
Yeah.
green on you?
Yeah, it turned
I think it
green
went
and
green.
purple, and I
Yeah.
called my mom like crying because I thought I was dying. I thought there was something seriously wrong with me. But just
Oh, man.
enjoy them. Don't eat the whole box in a day.
You're going to be like on the phone to the gastro being like, listen, is this normal? Is this all right? This blue dye.
Look, I'm gonna send you this picture. Is this normal?
Oh, all right. So I think that's a good pick. It wasn't my 101. It wasn't my first pick, but I'll acknowledge that it was a good pick. All right. My pick.
All right. I'm interested to see your first
So wait,
draft.
real quick. So are we doing a snake draft where you go, then I go again, and then no. We should just go back and forth.
We'll go back and forth.
We'll go back and forth. Okay. So first one off the board is Captain Crunch. I can't draft that, but what I am going to draft is CTC, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. For me, is my favorite right there. General Mills, cinnamon, sugar. I don't think anyone can go wrong with that. I don't know if that's on your radar, but it's definitely one on my list.
It's in there. That's a good one. That's a real good one. I almost forgot about Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I haven't had that in so long. We don't, we're those households. We don't keep a ton of sugary cereal around.
Yeah, we're more on that coffee train.
We really have no control. It's more that we have no self-control. Like I will eat the whole thing in a go. Well,
dude,
like 1
you
or
know
2
what
days.
I do? So like there's some times where I'm like, I after dinner, I'll love a dessert, but I won't do like cookies or Oreos or whatever's in our pantry. I'll just do cereal sometimes, where it's like it's a good little dessert. So I don't know if you've ever done that, but like I'll totally eat cereal as like a dessert sometimes.
It's real solid.
So I'll reach for CTC. Wait, now here's the thing. I will make a disclaimer. A lot of the things that we're going to be drafting, I won't like say that these are always in our pantry because they're not, because we try not to give our kids so much. And also my kids actually like dry cereal. They don't like cereal with milk. They like it dry. I'm like, you guys are freaks. Yeah, I don't know. But for the most part, like we either have Kashi or like we use like Love Crunch, which granola is not a cereal. We're not drafting granola, right? I feel like that's what's no, it's its own different category. I feel like that's what's more in our pantry nowadays. But if we were to stock our pantry with more cereal, CTC would be in there for sure. All right, pick number 2.
100%. All right, I'm gonna have to go the OG. Got to eat it fast before it turns into just a soggy, mushy, cardboardy mess. The one, the only, Frosted Flakes.
Yeah, okay. So here's the thing. So like I feel like that was like the OG sugar cereal for me. And I was like, and it's good. It's still really, they're great, right? So they're legit. I think I like discovered other sugary cereals after, but that was like the first one that I was exposed to. I think it
holds a special place in my heart.
Yeah, I was a sugary cereal virgin, and that was my first. So definitely a special relationship there with Frosted Flakes. I think it's a classic. I don't know. Does it crack my top 5? I don't know. It's good though. I'll acknowledge that it's good. I'm gonna go off the deep end here. Well, I don't know. I'm going Trix. Trix is my second pick. The Trix with the shapes. I like Trix.
Not
it
just
doesn't
the round ones.
Not just the round ones. No, I like it when they're like the little flower shape. I like all that stuff. That's I don't know.
You like a little interest while you're eating your cereal.
Yeah,
you're not just there for the flavor. You're there for the experience.
The textures. I want all the weird stuff in my mouth. So yeah, I went CTC and Trix 1 and 2. On your end, you've got Captain Crunch and Frosted Flakes. How are you going to round it out? Pick number 3.
Oh, one I used to eat all the time, and this was like none of my friends ate this, but banana nut crunch back in the day.
I don't know that I've had
my
that.
Absolute favorite cereals. I love banana bread because my mom used to make it for me all the time. Like whenever the bananas were ripe, we get a fresh loaf of banana. So banana nut crunch was kind of like eating banana bread, but in a cereal form. Oh, I would crush banana nut crunch. It's supposed to be like a somewhat healthy cereal because there's like granola in it and whole grains and stuff. I don't know. They advertise it as healthy. I'm sure it's not.
Yeah,
it's sweetened with honey or whatever it is. But yeah, that was one of my tops.
So one thing that I learned. So apparently, corn is one of like the only like foods out there like that creates more like fat cells. To my understanding, which is why they like feed cow. Like cow feed is like made of corn, and so heavy. Exactly. But like corn is like horrible for you. If you like read into like what corn is horrible for you. So any sort of like corn based cereals, like, and as I've gotten older, I'm like, you know what? I should go for more like whole wheat, healthy, sure. No corn derived anything, that's just, but no, for the sake of this draft, F that. No. I want all the corn fake. I want all of it. And so I don't know if the ones that actually I've drafted so far are corn. I think Captain Crunch is a corn derivative. I think I feel like it is. I know corn puffs are like,
it's something. It's gotta have corn in it.
It's something that I've like
corn,
been
it has
a
lot of corn syrup.
Yeah, exactly. Oh gosh, yeah. That's man, the things that we do for our kids, but then the things that we do for ourselves. It's like do as I say, not as I do. But anyway, run through your list again.
Captain Crunch at number 1, Frosted Flakes at number 2, Banana Nut Crunch at number 3.
All right, I went Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Trix. Number 3, I have some honorable mentions. Like I have always loved the texture of like Chex and Life cereal. I like that thin wafery.
Oh, yeah, the lightly sweetened, real crispy.
Yeah,
that is pretty good.
Yeah, I got a thing for that. I think it's cool. It's not gonna. I don't think I'm gonna pick that. I'm gonna go for something chocolatey. I think I'm gonna go. There's. I could go Count Chocula. I can go like the chocolatey Pebbles. What are those ones? There's like. What are the chocolate pebble ones?
Cocoa Pebbles.
There's Cocoa Pebbles. Are they Cocoa? There's Cocoa Puffs, and there's also the Cocoa Pebbles.
There's Cocoa Puffs, Fruity Pebbles, and I think Cocoa Pebbles.
Okay, I want the chocolate pebbles, the cocoa, the pebble. I'm gonna. Well, what texture wise? What do you like? Do you like more the round Cocoa Puffs, or do you like the Fruity Pebble small?
No, I think I'm like a flaky cereal kind of guy because
I kind of like
now
that
that you
too.
bring up Fruity Pebbles, like Fruity Pebbles is up there for me. Like that's a real good one because it's something about the like borderline sandy texture while you're eating it.
Yeah. You gotta eat it fast,
appealing. There's something about it that's like, I don't know if it's nostalgia or what it is, because like it's not good. Like the mouthfeel isn't good. Just like Captain Crunch, it doesn't feel good. It actually kind of hurts to eat.
A little bit.
That's kind of the appeal too.
Yeah.
It's like the micro relationship.
I feel like the micro scratches, like I don't like feel them as it's happening. It's like a couple minutes after I'm done where I'm like, ooh, something's amiss. Something's burning. What is that?
I can feel shreds of skin hanging off the roof of my mouth.
For real. And then like, so yeah, I think I'm kind of that similar texture preference. So I think with my final pick, I'm going to go with those Cocoa Pebbles. If that's what they're called. So there you have it, guys. You guys go ahead and vote. Who drafted better, me or Ben? You guys let us know in the comments on the YouTube section. I should probably post this poll on Instagram too. So you know what? We're gonna go ahead and sign off here in a moment, and I'll let you know where we can find us. But just closing thoughts. This is our first go. We're kind of new to the whole podcasting thing, so let us know how we did. We hope that you enjoyed this and you come along for the ride, because I think it's going to be fun creating this kind of content that's just, us chatting as dads, but also maybe highlighting some topics that might be a little bit harder down the road. So if you want, you can find me on Instagram at dad_verb. You can also find me on YouTube as Dad Verb. Ben, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Mr. Mr_McKenzie, MACKENZIE. Or you can find me at youtube.com/Benjamin McKenzie. So you can find my channel there. Check out all my video content, all that fun stuff, all the dad stuff. We're making more and more, as much as I possibly can with 2 kids. But, I say I upload regularly. I upload whenever I can.
Hey, we're going to try to keep this regular. We're shooting right now after the kids went down. So, we're going to try to keep it consistent. But no promises, but we hope to that this will just be episode 1 of many, many more to come. So thank you guys for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Peace.